So, hello everyone. Today we've got two experienced practitioners who were part of the Special Educational Needs and Disabilities Working Group at Birth to Five Matters. They're going to be talking about how they're currently supporting children's speech and language development. Because, as many of you know, since the pandemic, many children are struggling.
Morning. How are you, Helen?
I'm good, thank you very much, Kathryn. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right, thank you. Nice to sit down. So, did you want to chat briefly about what kind of we were both doing regarding speech, language and communication in our settings?
Yeah, I think that'd be really helpful.
Yeah.
It's been an interesting start to the year, so it'd be really helpful to see sort of how you're kind of doing it at your nursery and see if there's anything.
Yeah, well, I mean, each year's different, isn't it? You never get the same cohort of children, and when a lot of them leave at the end of September, at the end of July and August, you kind of think, oh, we've got that, and then your next cohort start, and you think, oh, we haven't got that. So this year, a lot of our children have got English as an additional language, a lot more than we've ever had before, and so this is something we've got to put a bit of a focus on this year. But it was really interesting doing the home visits to these children because it gave us quite an insight to the type of things they're doing at home. So that relationship with those parents is kind of our building blocks for going forward.
Yeah, I think we've done the same actually. We've noticed we did home visits and that provided lots of kind of insight into the family, but also time for the parents to talk to us about kind of the pandemic as well and how that affected kind of them in the home. And what we've noticed is we've got lots of children whose speech and language is probably slightly more delayed than we've had before. We've got a larger group of children who are needing additional support. And I think our focus has been really to consider what we can do with those quick wins, because we know it's going to take us a long time for some of them to be seen by a speech therapist. So actually what we could do. So we've started to think about our environments and sort of considering that birth to five enabling environment section. It's really enabled us to consider what we're doing, how we're doing it, but also whether there's anything else that we're missing that we could just change quite quickly, which would have a positive effect on those speech and language kind of steps, really.
Yeah, the Birth to Five has given us a nice little resource to go to for lots of little bits, and it's so quick to just click on something and go, that's the bit I needed. I've really enjoyed that. During lockdown, you say, we looked at how the parents coped, but during lockdown, we've made YouTube videos. So we would read stories or do the rhymes that we were doing. So we have a book of the month and a rhyme of the week for each different age group. And we recorded them on YouTube. And I think we've got to get back to doing that again, because we've kept some things that we were doing in lockdown. And that's one of those that we've decided we've got to revisit again, because you can see it's fine us saying, oh, here's the book, take it home and share it. But if they can't read English, if their child's not really into books, for those children with very delayed language, they might not even be bothered with the book. But to see one of us with our facial expressions and our hand gestures, it just gives a bit of meaning to everything. And I think that will help parents. And it's communication is so closely entwined with the physical, social and emotional kind of well-being of a child, that us in their home might not be a good thing, but I know a few times we've done it. Our gingerbread man story is on repeat in some homes because they know it's outside. They've got that link to us and a link to home, and I know parents have laughed at it too.
Yeah, we've done something similar. We put sometimes videos of the staff telling stories on our Facebook page. And that includes some of our rhymes as well. And we have core rhymes and we have core books that we share with children and the families throughout the year. And what we found is sometimes it's also just sending the YouTube link home. Yeah. So the family knows exactly the version of that song you're singing, and that the child, if they start to sing it, the parents, if they don't know it, can join in. So just thinking about creative ways to kind of continue that sort of partnership working with our families, and to make sure that that speech and language is continued across those positive relationships with our key people are there, and with our staff that work with all our children, but also that the parents can get involved as well. And we had the same thing, parents commenting that they were watching certain members of staff read stories and things before they were going to bed, and it was just really lovely feedback to get.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? We've also used some talking tins, and parents have recorded songs or some of their home language on them, and that's really worked, especially for our babies, to kind of have, they've nearly got mummy on the telephone in the room. But like you say, some of our children really aren't at the speaking stage, they're just communicating. I don't mean just, but we're looking at ways for communication. So we've got some children who have individual timetables, some children that work well with the group timetable. It's quite a tricky thing though, isn't it, to have enough visuals around to support children, but not too many that make it too busy and people just don't know where anything is. It's knowing your children and what they need, isn't it?
I think it is, and I think it's not being scared to just change something for one child. I mean, we found that even just thinking about the spaces in the room, sometimes certain areas are busier than others, and trying to understand why that is, and actually make a space where there's more communication that goes on, and how do we harness that in other ways. We use visuals, and we've got sort of lanyards that the staff wear that might have some sort of key symbols and sort of routine parts of the day on there. So if a child does sort of start to get upset, trying to tell them that mummy's coming soon, that you've got a visual that you can use quite quickly that's readily accessible. And we've also started to use Mascot as a matter of course, really. So we're not using everything, but what we find is some of our children who haven't yet got those words, they want to communicate with us. They're something, and actually they just haven't got the ability yet to actually form those words. So being able to kind of teach them some Mascot signs means they can come up to us and request help or get support with something. And we've started that communication. We've started that sort of journey for them. And I think it really benefits the child and the home, especially if the home kind of get on board as well.
Yeah, we've got basic Mascot signs that we use, and really from our babies of 6 months onwards, because they pick them up quite quickly, especially more. More and hungry or thirsty, and all of these. There's some basic words, aren't there, that if we can help children to understand them and then to use them, it's a mixture of us being able to explain more what we're expecting of them, but also a bit of reassurance for them. If I'm going, I know you do a different weight to us, so we do this, which is calm.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do that one, waiting.
Yeah.
I think sometimes when the child is talking to you and you're going, just waiting, I think it's it's gentle, but they're aware that we're just stopping for a moment. I think our other one that we try and teach everybody is the help. Because
definitely.
Actually, if you say help to me like this, then I can start to think in my head, what do you want help with? Is it your coat? Is it your wellies? Whereas before, often they could be stood in front of you instead, not saying anything or using behaviour to show you that they were wanting help.
Yeah.
And I think just having our core team of adults just using, like you say, kind of it's snack time or milk, we want some milk, we need some help. Actually, if all the adults use those, children pick it up really, really quickly.
Yes.
They can then come to you and use it, and you think, okay, so we can't yet say milk, but we can do this at snack time. We know that the choice for milk and water, I've picked the one that I want, and I'm communicating that.
Yeah, and it gives the children power, as well as that understanding of what you're wanting or you're asking them. Do you need help? It's that two-way communication that you're starting in a very basic way. I think the other one is toilet, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know that's quite an important one for us, but Yeah, and we found, because with the new EYFS, you're not kind of doing you're tracking their progress, but you're not tracking their progress like we used to. And one of the things on the Birth to 5 Matters is a supporting speech and language fact sheet, which is really simple. And we've started using it to go, just have a quick look and go, no, they're fine. And then if we need to dig deeper, we can dig deeper, but and make referrals or whatever it is we need to do. But
and I think that's really important, because I think you have to use all the tools that are available to you. And I know that we've got some children here who may need to go on to be seen by a speech therapist, but also we've got all of our tools at our disposal. We've started to make sure we sing all the time.
So, like a musical.
Yeah. So you sing obviously at rhyme time, but you're also singing because it's tidy up, and you're singing because you wanted to put the books away, or singing because we want to come in from the garden. And actually, as soon as you sing, children look and they are interested in what it's about. And I think it's that melody in your voice. We've started to try and use, again, going back to Mascot, a little bit of Mascot with some of our songs, because a child, yet again, that maybe can't say all the words, actually they are able to do the hand actions to different rhymes, and they are participating, are joining in, they are they're waiting for that part in that song that they know, and then they're kind of a little bit animated and engaged. And I think we, everybody can sing, and the children just enjoy it so much. So I think even just increasing how many times you sing in the day, or making definitely you're doing something, I think really helps too.
Yeah, we had a little girl who came in this morning actually, and we've got a very long corridor which goes to one of our rooms, and she really wanted to run, and I thought, I can't keep pulling you back, so we did a stomping song, and so it was a nice steady beat and then little song, and we were stomping down the corridor, and it just really helped. And it just made everything so much nicer for her entry than walking legs. It was really good. So yeah, communication, such an important thing. And it's kind of identifying where we're doing it, because I think, and I know in your setting that you're doing it all the time, it's just kind of bringing out the best bits of it to help these children.
I think it is. I think it's also seeing that every interaction we have with children actually enabling some form of speech and language and communication.
Yes.
Listening there, it could be because we're doing high attention box. It could be, because I've sat with you when you're having your dinner and we're just having a conversation while you eat your dinner. We're talking about the vegetables on your plate, and we're naming and we're labeling. And, as you get a little bit older, maybe having a conversation about what you did at the weekend or what you've done in nursery in the morning. And I think every opportunity as us as an adult, as well as parents, to actually build those conversations, have that, those opportunities to just talk and sing, but to kind of talk about it. Because I think every single thing we do, we're providing sort of a role model when it comes to speech language communication, and that narration alongside in play, when we're labeling, oh, you've got more sand in the bucket, oh, tip the sand over, pat, pat, pat. We're providing all of those words which children may not know, or they may, but you're just reinforcing it, aren't you, I think?
Yes. Yeah, it's so important. I always believe that the adult is the most important resource that we possess. You can have a grassy patch with no toys, but if you've got the right adult there's just about everything, isn't there? And the communication and the engagement with the adult and the child and whatever it is they're doing is one of the most important things.
It is, and I think that positive relationship, is essential, especially when the children are so small. When they have that trusting adult that's in nursery they can go to, that kind of knows that child really well. How to do everything for that child really by instinct. What they like, what songs they like, they might like to be outside, and we might be a little bit sad today, so we'll do something with the mud, and we'll talk about that, and we'll build on what children are learning, and kind of enable them to sort of develop, but the adult and that role is instrumental in that, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you to Helen and Kathryn for that very informative conversation. And I hope that you found that helpful, and the slides with the Mascot signs on.